I'm Wade Sankey. This is the Sankey Rodeo Show podcast from the cabin right here on the ranch in Sankey, America. It's not going to get any better than that. You just will go. Thanks for coming.
You bet.
Yeah, I'm excited about this.
Are you?
Absolutely. I know. It took me a lot of work to get you in here. Did Brandley shame you into it?
No. He didn't want me to even come this week.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he said we got too much work to do, so
yeah,
we're going to ship this week. So
perfect.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yeah. So the reason I'm so excited about this is because, like, I grew up around you, and you were always just kind of around. Like when I started rodeoing, and you were judging rodeos, and just kind of knew you as a judge, and you're a pretty quiet guy. And finally asked Ike, hey, who is that guy? He said, that's the ridingest son of a bitch that there ever was. He says, you and Joe Alexander are the two best bareback riders there's ever been.
Ooh. That's a pretty good compliment.
Yeah. He says, he said the difference between you and Joe and everybody else is that you could win money on horses that nobody else could. You could get the absolute most out of all of them.
I tried to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think, like, in our day, you couldn't always draw at the top of the herd because there was fewer good horses, maybe I should say, or at the top end. So you had to be able to compete well on maybe the little lower level, of horses. But I got my share of good horses too, so.
Yeah. So what is your rodeo background?
I don't know. My dad was a livestock inspector, brand inspector. We grew up in Bozeman, pretty much. I started riding calves probably when I was 10 or 12 years old. My brother, he wanted to be a bronc rider, so I kind of just fell in behind him and kind of was a shadow because everything was kind of, I don't want to say done for him, but my dad would buy practice horses and for him and Gary Metcalf, and they would practice in high school. And I got on some barebacks and got cow killed. And from then, but they had the college rodeo in Bozeman, and I always snuck into the rodeos in Bozeman to watch them guys. Started with Bob Shaw and Butch Bradsky and Dave Wagner. They were all ahead of me. Bud Monroe. So I could go in there and watch them guys, and it was a great atmosphere, and it was just fun to watch.
Yeah.
And they'd run me out, and I'd sneak back in. They'd try to put me on the buck and shoots, and I was too little to do the buck and shoots, to strip, horses and stuff. So, but that's kind of where it started.
Yeah. Which sneaking in and out of rodeo is a lifelong skill you got to learn if you're going to rodeo.
That's right.
Yeah. So you mentioned those guys. What years did you go to the finals, I guess?
81 through 85.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did you win the average?
I split the average with Danny Brady in 83. Me and him both won the average or had the same points on 10 head of horses. 84, I won the world. And I guess I was very fortunate because I got to see guys who I idolized in a sense, like Joe Alexander, even your Uncle Lyle. You'd see, I had a friend who I grew up with, and he'd always get the rodeo sports news. And he'd show me pictures in there, and I knew them guys, or I knew what they were or whatever, how good of cowboys they were and their accomplishments. And you seen pictures of them, and you'd always see really good pictures of them guys and where their feet were and how they rode. And I guess I enjoyed seeing that. And I think that just drove me more to want to be maybe more like them. So when I went to the finals, Joe Alexander was there. I got to ride, against him. And one time I was I can't remember which finals it was, but probably one of the 81 or 82. I was really stretching and trying to get, warmed up to get on my horse. And I forgot something in the locker room. And I go back there, and Jack Ward and TJ Walters were just sitting there. And the horses were already ran in the chutes. And they had their Reagans. And Jack Ward, he stands up and takes a pull off Black Velvet and touches his toes and says, "I'm ready." And I thought, my goodness, I'm sitting here. I went through a half hour of calisthenics, and that guy, he just stands up and touches his toes and he's ready to go, So I think that was just the way some of them cowboys were. They were just fit for their job. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Felt silly for doing all them exercises, like I was going to wear myself out. So.
Yeah, it sure changed. Yeah. So were you kind of one of the guys that started an exercise program, or was that around a little bit?
Oh, I think it was around. I don't know if I was the one who started any type of exercise program, but I think I tried to make myself more athletic in a sense, or more prepared for the situation, or I at least thought that I was, and stretching was one of the biggest things I think I did when I was, probably 78, and went to college in Sheridan, Wyoming. And I lifted weights, and I was a husky guy, probably weighed the most I ever did. My pants were so tight you couldn't, you bend over, they about split out. And then I learned to stretch more and stuff. And I figured I could get where I could, get my feet going faster and stuff, and just instead of trying to ride them with just strength.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then it evolved into more getting into a rhythm with them, with the horses, and I slimmed down quite a bit. And I think from like 1980 on, that's when my career really took off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you doing before you were going to the NFR? Were you going to?
I rodeoed a little bit around. I'd save money up and try to go to the winter rodeos every year and try to, hit a break or something like that. And always seemed like I'd come home broke or whatever, and go back to work and, try it again. I think it kind of gets in your blood, where you like the atmosphere, you like the people you're around. There's stock contractors you think you probably hated back when you rodeoed, but you really appreciate them kind of afterwards, because they're the ones that helped your career be successful too, and like in Montana, I think we had probably three of the guys who had probably some of the rankest horses ever, Kessler and Linger and Brookman. And you go to a little rodeo and you'd have to get on Moonshine or Three Cheers or Rum and Coke and Lingers or something, and they were never a day off. They were, you had to be able to compete. You had to be able to ride to get through them.
Yeah, and to go win $250.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there's not a lot of people that have been around Sonny Linger that talk about him very much.
Uh-huh.
Ike talks so high of him.
Yep.
He's always quoting Sonny. But what's some things that were different about Sonny? Well, Sonny and Reg and Marvin and everybody. Different then as opposed to now. How about that question?
I don't think I ever really seen Sonny get really, really upset. He was the opposite of Reg in a way. Reg was kind of a screamer, and that's that's the way they ran their deals. If Reg was coming down the chutes, them horses heard him, and they knew they better be ready to buck. And Sonny was kind of the opposite. Sonny brought up horses that he would work with, that like he bought at the Buck and Horse sale or something like that, that he'd turn into really good horses. He just took time working with them. Sonny had some good horses. I had Strawberry when I think I was on my permit at Cascade, and he flipped over in the chute on me, plumb over, and Dave Wagner cut my cinch, and they pulled me out and then pulled him out and let him go. And they asked me if I wanted back on him. I said, hell no, I don't want back on him. I went and got on my bronc and left. And then I got him back at the college finals in Bozeman. And I was riding a lot better and stuff. And hell, I went around on him pretty easy. And he was just a fantastic horse. He is a fun horse to ride. I don't know, I got on probably 3 cheers of Reg's, probably the most of any horses, and he fit me the worst of any horse, it seemed like. He was long and steep, and I don't know, me and him just never had a very good deal. But
So was 3 cheers out of 3 bars?
yes.
Yeah. I remember watching videos of 3 bars, just hearing about 3 bars my whole life from Lyle and Ike and everybody we were around, Mickey and Bruce. And then I remember I found a video of 3 bars, and Bruce had her at the finals. She, safest place in the arena would have been behind her. And whistle blows, she jerked Bruce down, and I went and got Ike. Hey, watch this. Is that 3 bars? You sure they didn't mess that up? Yeah, that's her. He's kind of watching it thinking, boy, maybe things have changed. Maybe they weren't what they were back then. But
but those guys back then, they tried to buck you off.
Yeah.
I think the stock contractors today are more, I want to say, cowboy friendly in a sense, but they still want to buck them off. But yeah, I got to get on 3 cheers. I had her at the finals one year and got by her. I had
3 bars?
Or 3 bars, both of them actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where was the finals?
Oklahoma City from 81 to 84. So I would have got on 3 cheers, I think probably the 2nd or 3rd year I went to the final.
Yeah.
And 3 bars, or 3 bars I got on probably in 81 or 82. 3 cheers I got on in 84, the year I won the world. But I mean, I've had, it seemed like I would get on horses of the year at the finals, and they did not perform very good for me. And I was not real happy about that. But I had, what was it, Mr. Smith from Stevenson's or Christian Brothers? But
yeah, I don't know.
had him at a Schlitz finals in San Diego or down there, and it was probably 78 or 7, probably 78, I think. It was like a year after I got my card, and I didn't know anybody, and I went down there, and he bucked me off, and everybody said, well, God, you should have, you shouldn't have rode like the way you did, because I was kind of wild and, wanting to give it to him all the time. And I don't know, maybe felt, and I wasn't as confident, I guess, or whatever, or didn't ride quite as good, but he did get me, throwed me off. And I went home, and then I had him at the finals, and I probably won 3rd or 4th in the go around on him, and thought, God, this horse is not as near as good as he was back then. I had Sip and Velvet at the finals, and it just seems like I never got scored very good on them good horses. I don't know if they just were pissed off at me because I made them look bad or something. I don't know.
Well, did they have their day?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
But you can't say that about all of them. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, they're still animals.
Yeah.
So in 85, did it move to Vegas?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was pretty much done rodeoing after 84. I figured I did what I wanted to do, and I had a new family and stuff, and I never had the drive to keep going. I think if I wouldn't have won the world, I probably would have still been trying to do it, And then in 85, I rodeoed. 86, I took the year completely off just to see if I could quit.
Yeah.
I wanted, I liked the people and everything. I just wanted to be away from it. I just wanted to see if maybe that would give me another shot of wanting to really want to do it again. And I did rodeo after that, some, and you go, and I did fine. It wasn't quite as appealing to me, or I did not have the desire to really, put in the hard work to do it, to really want to be a world champion again, I guess is what I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's hard. You have to want it. You do. It's a strenuous deal. So that's kind of my deal.
All right, real quick, we got to pay some bills. Got to say thank you to the Bozeman Stampede, Bozeman, Montana.
Folks, the Bozeman Stampede, greatest rodeo in the world, maybe the universe. Huge crowds, beautiful bulls, riders tougher than my Twitter feed. Other rodeos, sad. This one wins so much you'll get tired of winning, but you won't. Believe me.
I've always thought that if anybody wins the world, regardless, like, there's people that will say, well, he never should have won the world. If somebody wins the world, they deserve to win the world. And I think if they can ever figure out how to take that focus and that drive into any other part of life, like, anybody that wins the world is successful and can be successful in anything.
Oh, absolutely.
Is the easiest way to say it. But
yeah. I mean, it takes a lot to win the world. I don't care if you're one and done or if you do it 4 or 5 or 6 times or whatever. But I mean, you have to really dedicate yourself to do that. And I guess I probably wasn't that dedicated to do that because I wanted a ranch too. And rodeo was an opportunity for me to get into the cattle industry, to start buying cattle. And it seemed like they were cheap and I could own a lot of cattle, and I like that too.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way of life I wanted to live. I didn't really want to be a cattle trader or anything. I wanted to own cattle and have a little place and run my cattle, and I finally got it, which is, I'm pretty fortunate. So that's the way I feel about that.
Yeah. So do you think that your priorities changed because you had a family or because you won the world?
I think it maybe both, because I did have a family and I wanted to be more dedicated to them. And like winning the world, it was good, but you can't be so focused on it that you don't, you're not going to put yourself out there to compete as hard as you ever did. You want to be able to do it again, but then if you don't have the drive, that's where I think I was kind of done. I'm not sure. I don't know if I ever would have been able to, win it again, or if I really wanted to. It didn't really matter to me that much. It was kind of, I was successful and I enjoyed that, but I never had the desire to really go hard again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think you could now. These guys are good, and they're in their 20s.
Oh, absolutely. They're tremendous. And I love these horses. Chuck Simon always told me, he goes, Larry, what if we had horses like this, back then? And we did. We had some, but I mean, the horses today they're fun to watch. They're not real dirty, like what Marvin Brookman had and stuff. But they're good, strong bucking horses.
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah. And I enjoy watching. Calgary kind of was like that. Calgary kind of always was like that. They always would try to breed good, strong, big bucking horses.
Yeah.
And a lot of people today have, the way I see it, kind of have that same type of horse that they had 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've been breeding them for a long time.
So who was in charge of the Calgary Stampede horses when you were going?
Winston Bruce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So going back to the NFR and the year you won the world, what's the story there? Who else was in play? And
I think me and Danny Brady were really close, and I'm thinking Danny was leading it going in, or I was leading it going in, but Lewis Field, he came up and he made a big hard push to win, and I just was fortunate enough to win. And my mom, she was sitting with Lewis's mom, and during the finals and stuff, and they're talking back and forth. Well, if your son don't win, I hope my son wins, or something like that. Or I don't want to wish ill on your boy or whatever. So
yeah,
that's kind of a neat story.
yeah, that is pretty cool. And Louis, he got his.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's a good cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not many people that were ever around him that don't have a good story, right, whether it be a positive thinking type story or just a really funny story.
And he loved rodeo. I mean, to have a rodeo string and then to pick up all them years. And he loved to rope, team rope and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was an athlete himself.
Mm-hmm. And a master of the mental part of everything, I always thought. Yeah. My funny story about Louis is I've known Louis my whole life, grew up around him. First time I ever saw him was at high school rodeo in Thermopolis, Wyoming, and I was entered. Look out there, and there's Bobby Marriott, Louis Field picking up. Cool. This is awesome. Before the bronc riding was over, Louis fell off his horse 4 times.
Because of his mount or what?
Oh, it was everything. I mean, every little thing you could possibly imagine. Uh-huh. Yeah, one of them bucked him off a couple of times. Had one dallied and ducked behind him, and I was more worried about Louis than I was about me in that situation. Yeah, but no, he was always fun to be around.
Yeah.
So when you were rodeoing, did you do it solo, or were you going with somebody usually, or how did that all work?
In 81, I was not really, kind of solo, like over the winter rodeos. I went to the winter rodeos, and then I was going to college at Dawson Community College. And like in the summer, I'd just catch rides or maybe get entered with somebody like Wade Barry, and I think he was steer wrestling too. So that kind of took away from some rodeos. So you would kind of do it solo. And then the second year, I had nothing to do at home or anything. And I got in with Sam Perkins, and he really helped me, and he showed me how to rodeo, how to save your money, how to, you know, just to get around, and I really enjoyed that. And I probably I think we went to over 120 rodeos that year because I had nothing else to do. And I said, Sam, what do you want to do? And he said, we can go rodeo. And yeah. And then I rodeo with him, I think, quite a bit in '83. And Jay Kirkland, he came along, and I rodeoed with Jay all of '84. Yeah. And probably quite a bit of '85.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I kind of feel bad. I feel like I kind of let Jay down. I didn't rodeo with him past that because he was on the edge of probably making the finals and stuff. And I don't know, maybe I was a little selfish. I don't know. But we had a good time. I've known Jay since high school, and we had a good time rodeoing together and stuff. So I got some good stories about Jay. But
You want to tell any of them?
I could tell one. That's hilarious. Jay bought one of them, a Ford Tempo, and it was brand new. And we went to Nampa. We got done there, and I think we're headed back west or something. I can't remember where we was going to go to next. And he's always been kind of having trouble with this new car. And we went and ate dinner after the rodeo, and we start heading out because we'd always just drive all night, and get to the next rodeo. And he's sitting over there, and he kind of scoots back in his seat and puts his cruise on. And that Tempo, it had a console there, but you could stick your foot under the underside. So I stuck my foot under there, and he's going about 65, I think, or 70 miles an hour. And I'd push on that gas a little more and little more. Pretty soon it's going like 80, 90 miles an hour, and slams on the brakes and says, this damn car is just driving me nuts. Everything's going wrong with it. So I said, and I was trying to pretend like I was sleeping on the other side. And I did that again, and he slammed on. About the third time, I couldn't help it. I just busted up laughing. And he's looking at me and goes, I said, you're just cussing this car way too much. Stuff. Then I had to tell him I was pushing on the gas.
Just got to be nicer to your car.
Absolutely, yeah. But I mean, the tires wore weird on that car and everything. Yeah, he just had trouble with it. But he was fun to rodeo with. Don't let him have too much tequila.
That's a solid rule for anyone, I believe.
Yeah. Jay used to like his tequila every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about the people? I know because I've seen you do it and talked to a lot of people, but there's a lot of people that you've helped in rodeo. Is that been on purpose? Is that something you look forward to doing?
I haven't helped anybody for a long time. I don't know who that would be.
Well, I didn't say they were kids, but there's a lot of people that were after you.
I don't know. I just tried to give them pointers or something. I don't think I had, or maybe I was too bashful or whatever to ask somebody what I should think about, like going to my first finals or something. And like after it, I just, you got to think it's just another rodeo. It's just another 10-header. You're going to be there all week. Just do the best you can on every horse you have instead of letting the lights and everything else get to you. It's a job. It's you got to kind of treat it more normally, I guess, instead of being so trying to get you so jacked up. And I mean, today, I bet it's probably 10 times worse because of all the the sound systems and everything that's going on and stuff. I remember we used to rodeo and they had bands or whatever playing.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's all in perspective. It's
right.
a step up from everything else, but it was then too.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So did you ever judge the NFR?
No. I was asked to. I told him I wouldn't do it.
How come?
I just didn't think, I wasn't, when they asked me, I thought I should have more judging under my belt, I guess. Not so much knowing the rules, but to be more confident in myself doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, no, I don't think I want to take that on. Yeah.
You judged for a long time.
I judged for quite a while. Yeah. I probably haven't judged for 6 or 8 years now. But yeah.
Are you going to start again?
No.
That was a quick no, Larry.
Well, when I was trying to stop or whatever, Rick Smith, he wanted me to come in, and it has nothing to about Rick or anything. I wanted younger guys to get involved. Mm-hmm. I think once you go through a portion of guys and it's not your friends that are still rodeoing, that's when you jump in and start taking over as a judge or something like that. Because if you're rodeoing with them same guys and you're judging, they'll look upon you as you're screwing me over or you're gifting me, or maybe they won't think you're gifting me. That other rider will think you're gifting them or something like that.
Sure.
I just didn't. I think people should step up and do that. It's to help the association. It's to help rodeo. We have a lot of guys who are pretty old that are judging. I don't know, maybe you don't notice. You're out there, and I still know a lot of them that are, and it's not a dig on them because I think a lot of them do a great job, but maybe bring some guys in. It's a little different perspective, and type of thing. And the riding styles have changed. I mean, back when we rode, we kind of had to be, these guys today, I believe, they're in a rhythm with the horse, but their upper body in the bareback riding is just stiff. They're straight armed, and they've learned how to do that, and they've done a very good job at that. Where I don't know if them guys are lifting on their rigging or pushing down on it or what they're doing, but they've learned how to handle that. Back when I rode, you'd lift on your rigging, and try to get your hips under it and everything and bring your feet up to your handhold. So that deal has changed. And it's not a dig on anybody. They've learned how to do it, and they're doing it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the judges need to change too.
Pardon?
And the judges need to change because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a machine. Them guys out there today are a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And they look good at it. Yeah. So, and I don't watch that much rodeo either. I'll go to a rodeo every now and then and enjoy it. So.
Yeah. So what about you stepping away? You didn't want to come visit here. Is that because you thought somebody might hear you?
Yeah.
What part didn't you want them to hear?
Oh, I don't know. It's not so much they do. I've done interviews and stuff before, but are we done?
No.
Just kidding.
We're just on the subject.
I don't know. I'm just not that outgoing of a guy, I guess, and don't know if anybody cares what I have to say.
Well, my perspective of rodeo growing up in this deal is I think it's a lot different than most people's, because I've seen how it can just run your life for your entire life. And I mean, I've had to get away from it. I still have to get away from it. Like, Danielle, I married a civilian, right?
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool to see a guy in our little community that's got a world title that's nobody knows that you're a world champion. I think that's awesome. And I've always respected you for walking away from it. And I'm going to say this in a strange way, but I remember my mother, who was a rodeo queen, said one time, she was talking about another rodeo queen, which she only ever did this one time, but she said the problem with her is she still thinks she's a rodeo queen. It just defines their whole identity for the rest of their life. And I just think it's cool that you're just Larry and Mary.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, I like being Larry and Mary.
Yeah.
But I mean, we tried doing things like putting on rodeos. I had some bucking horses and bucking bulls. And
well, I didn't know anything about this.
Really?
Let's hear it.
Well, Dwayne Lenning.
Mm-hmm.
When they had the horse palace, they used to do a winter series there.
Yeah.
And Chuck Simonson, after he got hurt, me and him went and bought horses kind of together and stuff. And Keely Montgomery, Keely,
Mm-hmm.
he had bulls and I had some bulls. And Dwayne Lenning, he called us the PMS Rodeo Company. Peabody, Montgomery, Simonson.
That's good marketing.
Yeah. But that's what we never called ourselves that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what he called us. But anyway, we did that, and I put on a few high school rodeos, and I bought some horses at the bucking horse sale, and I had one we did the Roundup rodeo. I don't know, can you tell about a horse breaking his back here?
Sure.
Okay. We had, and a nice horse, a nice little sorrel horse, jump and kick, and just was great for them kids.
Mm-hmm.
Broke his back out there.
Just overextended, kicked too hard.
Yeah. So they drag him out, and I got this guy helping me, Keith, and Keith, you need to go shoot that horse. So, and I'm still over there flanking horses or whatever, and hear this, boom, boom. He does it about 4 times, shoots him. And then he comes back. I said, what, you just trying to get me because, I like that horse or what? But that was kind of the tragedy of horses and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put up with those types of things. And so we did that a little bit. And then...
Yeah, and I got to interject. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, absolutely right. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a story we need to tell. But here, we lose a lot more horses here that never leave this place due to injuries just from being horses. Mm-hmm. They're a lot safer on the road in the rodeo arena than they are here. That's true.
Yeah. And then me and Keely Montgomery, we got together and we kind of put together a bull riding deal called Big Sky Bull Bash.
Yeah.
And he had bulls and I had bulls, and we would, even like when Billings had their invitational bull riding, before it was PBR, or even when I think the first couple of years it was PBR, we had some bulls in that.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of, you go around and you do that. And we had probably, I think, 10 or 12 events a year. And then we had the finals a couple times up in Red Lodge. And Jody Klessens, I think we had it over the Labor Day weekend. And Jody Klessens said, Larry, yeah, you can use the arena, but I'm not going to guarantee it ain't going to snow. But we got by that pretty good, so it was pretty good.
What time of year was it?
In Labor Day on September.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for their finals and stuff, yeah. But like Bo Hill would ride in it, and, before them guys were kind of going hard rodeoing, and yeah, it was kind of fun.
Yeah.
You had to go produce some bull ridings, and I like to do bull ridings better because you only had to haul one kind of livestock. You could have a 2-year-old bull that could buck pretty good in that little deal, and you could raise them up, and they could keep bucking for you. And then if they quit, the beef market was decent, and it wasn't like a bucking horse deal where you have to spend 4 years to wait on something before you can really buck it.
Yeah.
So you could trade out them bulls pretty easy and pretty fast if you needed to.
Yeah. It's a pretty good business model, really.
Yep. And then I'd have Burgers come over and help me. That Nevada Burger, he would come over and bring a load of bulls. And it turned out pretty good. I kind of enjoyed it. So,
Yeah.
But then kind of got tired of it and just went kind of straight to ranching.
Yeah. And raising kids.
Raising kids.
3 kids, right?
4 kids.
4 kids.
3 kids are in Portland. Tiffany, Nathan, and Charcy all live in Portland. There's 4 grandkids out there. And then Nathan, he lives here in Red Lodge with 3. So I always wanted to move east of Pompey's Pillar, and Mary wouldn't let me, so we found a little place over here kind of west of Roberts.
Yeah. So you're from Bozeman, but you lived in Pompey's for a long time, didn't you?
29 years.
Yeah.
Yep. School board for 12.
Probably a pretty good area to be on the school board, though.
Sometimes you'd think so, but I think the most complaints you ever had were people wondering why their kids did not start in the sports, basketball or volleyball or something like that. And I said, that's up to the coaches. Don't complain to me.
Yeah. Third world issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're just more worried about that than academics.
Yeah. Well, it's important. Scholarships. Yeah. So what else? What else should we cover?
Oh, what are you thinking of?
I don't know. Got any rodeo stories?
I don't know if I really have any rodeo stories. I think I was just fortunate to grow up around ranching, livestock industry, being able to, rodeo against guys like Joe Alexander and Bruce Ford, and, guys you thought a lot of and still do, and and then once you leave that, you go and do some other things. You think you're going to make it rich doing something else, but it all really comes down to you and your family being happy and, not overextend yourself and being able to do what you like to do. And that's what I'm able to do today. Yeah. Maybe take my wife to Florida for a week or two and not Arizona. And
Where there's no rodeo.
Well, it's not because there's no rodeo. It's because there's beaches down there. I mean, I team roped for quite a while. I team roped a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was more of a drug than anything. Drugs out there. And then once I quit it, I felt a lot more wealth in my pocket.
You just didn't do it long enough, right?
I did it way too long. I talked to a guy at the tire store one day, and he goes, "Can you remember when we used to just try to figure out how he's going to get enough money to put in our bank account Monday morning to cover our checks from Saturday and Sunday team roping. I said, yeah. He says, I don't rope anymore either. And he was pretty successful at it. So
Yeah.
But I've been hurt a lot more at the ranch and out of rodeo than ever in rodeo.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
You gave up stretching.
No. The year I won the world, I had to skip Denver because I was riding a horse for my sister and he fell down and broke my foot. And then I broke my pelvis probably about 8 years ago. Split it off.
Saddle horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then got a knee replacement, which I should have done 15 or 20 years ago, which really is going good. Don't limp around near as much.
Yeah, you know that now.
I know it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's awesome that you came out, and I think that it's great that it appears to me anyway, that you've always got to make a living doing what you want to do. That's pretty important, especially in this sport.
Yeah. I think I have. I'm fine the way life is. Yeah. So
Yep.
God's blessed me a lot.
Amen.
Amen.
Yep.
Good family, good church. Got to have things in perspective. Yeah.
I completely agree with that.
I was going to say, like when you read your catechism or whatever, it's fear and love God. And I used to fear those bucking horses, and maybe that's why I rode about half decent.
Everybody's got to have a key to success.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks, Larry. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.